Hi guys, welcome to Breaking Stereotypes. I hope everyone is doing fine and staying positive because it's very important to do so in these hard times. Today on our platform, we are going to explore the risks and rewards that follow when you take a plunge into the unknown. A girl who had a great job, a stable income, and a safe environment, as we call it, took that plunge to follow her heart. We have with us Ankita Kumar, who's fondly known as Monkey Inc., and she's going to take us through this journey of hers. Hi, Ankita. Welcome to Breaking Stereotypes.
Hi Kripa, thank you so much for having me.
Ankita, I'll tell you something. When I started following you, there was something very striking about your profile. Apart from the great colors, the backdrops, the places you were traveling, apart from that, I think the most appealing thing to me was the way you captured the human emotions and the culture. How did you go about finding this space for yourself?
I think it was quite a struggle, to be honest, in the sense that you know how overwhelming and how saturated the whole online space is right now, right? So it's very important to kind of find your niche and kind of stick to it and kind of figure what makes you stand apart from the rest. But while doing that, you also need to figure something that you can do comfortably. Like while doing all of this, you're still being you. I think that's the most important. So I basically create the content that I want to see. So anytime I create a piece of content, I look at it and I was like, would I want to consume this? Would I want to watch this? Would I want to look at this? And would I be taking away something from this? And if the answer is yes, then it goes up. If the answer is no, then...
That's a good, comfortable way. You did 100 days of caravanning through Kerala to Himachal. Why caravan, and did you plan to make a statement with this caravan travel?
No, actually, this idea came because of my friend Rohit, the one that I started Caravan Chronicles with. He just picked up the phone one day. We had just met once before that. And I don't know why he decided to call me of all people, but he called me up and he's like, do you want to take a caravan across India for 100 days? I was like, yeah. So that was it. Like that was the start of Caravan Chronicles. And for me, the idea was very close to my heart because I grew up reading Enid Blyton. And in that there is there's one particular book that says it's a famous 5 book that says 5 go out in a caravan and 5 go off in a caravan. And since then I think it's been my dream to kind of caravan, make a little home on wheels. So that's how the idea was born. And it was, oh my god, it was an experience and a half. It was such a roller coaster, but I'm so happy I did it. I'm really I don't know if I can ever take up a journey like that again because it was really intense, but I'm so happy I did it.
It was beautiful. We all loved that journey. Ankita, now things are much better. But tell me, how was it when you spoke to your folks about this? Quitting your job and starting on your own, traveling on your own. Obviously, it required certain amount of money and risks involved with a girl, going on her own. What did they tell you?
So the irony is that I was born and brought up in a very, very small town and I had a very protected childhood. I had to be back home at 5:30 in the evening. I wasn't allowed to wear shorts or sleeveless clothes and stuff like that. So it was a very protective environment like that. But at the same time, it was very open in terms of ideas. My parents were one of the few people in Rourkela. Rourkela was where I was born and brought up, who let their kids, I'm saying let because parents had such a huge say in everything that we did, right, growing up. So I was one of the only people from my school that did humanities instead of commerce or science. So that in that sense they were very open about things. And then I think because of the amount of protection that I got growing up is why I decided to completely break away and go crazy and start doing what I do. So I think it was a reaction to how life was growing up. So yeah, now I say that I brought up my parents up well. It's been such a journey for them also, to come to terms with the fact that I'm going to be traveling solo. I'm going to be going to all of these places where I don't even know the language. I don't know a single person there. And it's almost 7 seas away and stuff. So yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it started with a lot of disagreements and fights and all of that. But now they are my biggest cheerleaders. Now they're more excited than me about trips. Like my dad is constantly like, okay, so now what you're planning? Now what are you planning to work on and stuff? So I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that we went through that journey.
You convinced them, okay, but how did you convince yourself? Because trust me, all of us at some point in time in our lives, feel this way. Chuck, yaar, this is not happening. This is not the job for me. Let me just follow my heart. Let me find what my passion is. But very handful of people actually do it, and you're one of them. So, what were your fears at that point in time?
I think the biggest motivator for me was the fact that I was the most me when I traveled. Like I felt like I was being myself when I used to travel, because I came out of my shell. I used to make friends like this, and I never knew that about me. And more than anything, it was about the fact of being comfortable being by yourself as well. I think that is something that I definitely thought that I would struggle with, and I didn't. Like I loved my own company, which was such a revelation to me, right? Because I've always been an extrovert and I've always been surrounded by friends. So it was quite a revelation for me to really be by myself and enjoy that. So I think that was a huge push for me to kind of go into solo traveling. Obviously, some of the days where I'm just going to embark on a long months, 4-month long journey and stuff. At that time, I'm just what am I doing? Have I completely lost it? Why am I doing this? Why am I leaving this safe space where I'm comfortable and I know people around me into just this abyss where I know nothing and I know nobody? But I think that is the kind of thrill which is unparalleled. I don't think that, and that really excites me. It makes me go crazy and want to do it. So yeah, I think these are a couple of motivators.
But this was your calling. We can safely say that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be doing anything else. There's nothing else that I'd rather do than this.
So you chose this, Ankita, but how did you go about charting a monetary model to this? Because traveling doesn't come easy, doesn't come cheap. So how did you chart out a model where, you were getting the funding, plus you were getting an ROI for what you were doing and sustaining with it? Please take us through that.
It wasn't easy at all. And that's why when people sometimes write to me and they're like, we want to do what you do and I want to quit my job and I'm just in college and I want to quit, I don't want to find a job and I just want to do what you do. I'm like, don't do that, because this is not an easy life. It is not for everybody. And the motivator has to be the fact that you love it. The motivator can't be money. I definitely think that money is one of the most important things. Without money, it's impossible to travel. It's important to be independent while you're doing all of this. So how I also started was I used to work 3 or 4 jobs in a month. Yeah. I would do 3 or 4 jobs and I would work really hard. I would save up and then I would travel and create content. And so it was a cycle, you work really hard, you save up, you create content, and then you build your audience and stuff like that. And then you make a name for yourself. And that is when then you can approach brands for sponsorships, or brands will want to associate with you for sponsorships. And again, I keep coming back to that, how are you different? How are you standing apart from the crowd?
Absolutely.
There's a sea of people right now. So I think that is the most important. And never stop being you. If you're trying to be somebody else, there's only so much you can do trying to ape somebody or trying to be something that you are not. So definitely it all comes back to the fact that be yourself and only get into it because you love it, because you love creating content or because you love traveling, and not because you want to get free stuff or free trips and stuff like that. I think that is the wrong motivator, and that will only get you this far. It won't really carry forward.
I think that's what is happening in the social media space right now. People kind of see the best side of you, see the easy side of you, and they suddenly feel that, why not? Why can't I? I'm not saying that they can't, but I think it's very important that they chart out this whole thing, and as you said, understand where their heart really lies. And it can't be the money and it can't be the fame that comes with it. It has to be the product that you're creating. Absolutely.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I also feel that it's not just you, it's always good to have a backup. I know that if social media one day, you never know, right? TikTok was there one day and it was just gone one day, right? So you never know what might happen. So you should always have a backup. For me, the backup is filmmaking, right? That is as huge a passion of mine as travel, okay, maybe a little lesser. But then it's like a huge passion of mine. Like I love doing that, and I know that monetarily also it's viable because I have a ready source of work that I have done in the past, right? So I like, if I have to tomorrow say for instance Instagram closes, like Instagram just shuts down overnight, what do I do, right? Obviously it'll be a huge shock for me, but at the end of the day I have a sea of work that is independent of Instagram, right? I have a brand that is Monkey Ink that is separate from Instagram, that is bigger than Instagram. I have the films that I've made, I have the scripts that I have created and stuff. So always have that. Like, don't just be like, oh, social media is a thing. It's great. I love it. I think it's the reason why I'm sitting here right now. But use it as a leverage. Go beyond that. I feel it's time for people to kind of think beyond social media as well.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. Speaking of these unprecedented times, TikTok shutting off and everything else that's happening around, where is your headspace? Because travel industry is hugely hit. So
Yeah.
what do you plan to do?
So I'll be honest with you, the first lockdown, basically the 21-day lockdown that was there, it was hell, yeah, Kripa. Like I woke up one day not being able to breathe. I'm not even kidding. Like I couldn't physically breathe because I think I was having a very physical reaction to all the stress that was going on in my head, right? Like, what do I do now? Like I can't travel. So what do I do with my time? What do I do with my life, right? It was all like so uncertain. And I'm sure like a lot of people went through that as well, not just in my industry, but like several others. And I think the thing that pulled me out of it was that there's nothing I can do about it. What I can do is what I do with my time, right? Like how I can get, again, like I didn't want to push myself. I didn't want to force myself to create. I didn't want to force myself to be productive. So I gave myself time. I was like, okay, take this time off, just relax, watch things, read books, listen to music, see whatever makes you feel good, right? And then there was a time when I just started writing, I started writing a lot, and then stuff just happened, like I started creating content out of the stuff footage I had from earlier on that I never used, thinking I can't use karega ye. And I think I needed that break, like because for the past 5 years, I've been traveling sometimes almost 8 months a year. I've never had time to slow down or stop. And I got to spend so much time with my family. Like I haven't spent so much time with my parents since I was in school, and it was a beautiful time. Like we revisited so many things. We would play games, we would pull each other's legs. There were fights also, but it was such a wholesome time, And I think what I took the most away from it was that nothing can cap that creativity in me, and that was a huge confidence booster. I'm like, okay, despite sitting at home and not being able to travel, I can still create content. So I think it was a huge, I don't think I would have voluntarily taken this break ever. Like I would still keep going, jumping from one thing to the other. And I think it was really important for me to kind of slow down and reevaluate, So I'm really really grateful for what this time has taught me. It's not been easy, and I'm sure it's been way tougher for other people out there, and not taking the struggle away from it at all. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate what it taught me.
I absolutely agree with you. I think I have come across a lot of people who sort of reinvented themselves in this time, and I'm one of them. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Ankita, when you were starting out on your own, what's the best advice you received, which kind of really helped you go through this entire journey?
So there was a strange time in life, and this was when I was 26, and suddenly I was going through this existential dilemma. I'm like, why do people do anything? We're all gonna die anyway. It was like a really dark space that I was going through, and I asked this question to so many people, and nobody had an answer to it, and I was really curious. So this was when I was in Colombia. And I happened to enter the Indian restaurant. I didn't even know it was an Indian restaurant. I just entered because I liked the vibe. And then suddenly I see the menu and it's all paneer, butter, masala and all. I'm just like, wow, this is like an Indian restaurant in Colombia, right? And there was a Bangladeshi guy was the manager. So he came to me and we just started talking about India and everything. And there was an oldish, about 60-year-old Iranian gentleman who was sitting on the next table. And he heard me talking about India and stuff. And he's like, do you mind if I join you? I was like, no, not at all. Please, come join me. And so we kept talking about random things here and then. He seemed very wise, and he seemed very worldwide, okay? Worldly wise. So I was like, okay, maybe I should ask him that question, So I asked him, I was like, what is the point of doing anything if you're going to die anyway? And he looks at me, he's like, how old are you? I was like, 26. And he's like, and you're already asking these questions? I was like, Yeah, but can you help me with an answer, He's like, so there is no definite answer to it, definitely, because you never know. Like, none of us have an answer to this. But what can help is if you find a purpose in life.
Absolutely.
So that you can help other people get through life with you. And I found that so amazing. I'm just like, yeah, it's all a journey, right? Like it's all going to end one day, right? But the best thing is that how do you make your journey as meaningful as possible for yourself and with people around you? So I think once I had that in mind, it kind of put a lot of things in perspective. Like, it's not just about you and about your end, right? It's about everybody's journey together.
It's funny how you brought this up, because very recently, even I came across something similar in one of the movies I was watching. And very beautifully towards the end, they say this, that in a life, you may not find all the answers for the questions that you have. But I think the life is all about finding the purpose. So it definitely makes a lot of sense. Ankita, as we come to the wrap of this, I want you to pass on wise words for budding bloggers, budding travel bloggers, or travel content creators. How do they go about it? Because it's definitely a cluttered space. And once we are back, full throttle after the lockdown, I don't know what madness it will entail. What is your advice?
I think the biggest thing, like I've said, is that be yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, don't try to be something else or don't try to be somebody else, because at the end of the day, this is your work, right? So it has to speak of you. That's the first thing. Second thing would be independence. Like, financial independence is the most important thing. Like, unless and until you're financially independent, please do not venture out into doing this. Like, don't quit your job or don't quit college to do this, because at the end of the day, you need a backup plan. Third would be just be smart about it. This is not an easy time, especially with the COVID around and stuff like that. So juggle a few things, like maybe take up like 2-3 other things that you can do in case this doesn't work out. Not just in terms of financially, but also in terms of what you can do with your time, right? Like pick up hobbies or pick up skills. I think picking up skills is going to be really important.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Ankita. Thanks for talking to us, sharing these wise words, your thoughts, and most importantly, your journey. Because as I said, people just see the best side of you and don't really realize what hard work has gone behind that. And the motive of doing this video was just that. Please follow your heart, but be smart about it.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Kripa. This was really amazing.
Guys, that was Ankita Kumar. I totally loved chatting with her, and I'm sure you will love listening to what she has to say. In the end, I would like to say, please follow your heart, because when you do something where your heart lies, obviously the result is amazing, but be smart about it and pour your heart into it. Thank you for watching.